How do I actually get clear with myself every single day? You see, it's easy to say, hey, like I want to be able to work on myself. I want this to continue. I want me to grow. I want to break free from a lot of the toxicity. But then when it comes down to the actual like nuts and bolts, is like, how do we actually do this? How do we even focus on how I'm getting better on a day-to-day basis? And so for us, what we focus on is breaking the trauma bond, getting out of the rumination, but then also empowering you on the day-to-day basis. Like empowering you of saying, hey, while we work on this, while we continue to grow, let's start to build healthy habits. Let's start to build you working on you on a day-to-day basis. Because it's not enough for me to just say, do this. Like we have to have you start to do this on your own. We have to have you start to be empowered with the tools. I was talking to a client earlier today and she was frustrated because she was like, I've spent thousands of dollars on therapy and no one has asked me the questions that you've asked me so far. Like I spent all this time talking to different therapists and them saying, hey, you're doing exactly what I would do. Like, hey, you're with a toxic person. She's like, no shit, I get that. But like, what do I actually need to do now? How am I actually moving forward? And so the process that we teach of breaking free of the trauma bond and of moving forward has to do with what's going on in your mind. But it also can't happen unless you start to build confidence in you. Build confidence on a day-to-day basis of who you are, how you're showing up for you on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to break down a couple different things. So what I use on a day-to-day basis is inside of Warrior, we use something called the core. Okay, you can kind of get a visual image. I'll throw it up here, kind of say like a reflection of like my screens, a visual image of what it looks like. But the core is where we're talking through this aspect of your life. I want you to picture for me for a second that your life, it can be broken down into 4 different areas. One being your body, how you show up physically, mentally, how you're actually showing up on a day-to-day basis. How are you actually taking care of your body? Then you also have the aspect of being, and this is talking about your spiritual connection. Like, what does this look like for your mindset, mentally and emotionally? What does this actually look like of how you're growing and changing yourself, but inside your mind, the story that you tell yourself? How does this actually connect with your connection to God? What does this look like? Maybe you even came out of spiritual abuse and you're like, I don't know if I like this. How are you connecting to you? Then we bring into the aspect, the third one, of balance. Balance is talking about your investment in other relationships. You might be like, I don't really want to invest in other relationships. I don't want to invest in my partner because that person's toxic. Totally get that. I'm not telling you to do that. Okay. Don't preach or teach that. But then it's like, how are you investing into you? How are you investing into the kids? How are you investing in other people in your life that you actually want to invest in, that are healthy for you to invest in? What does that look like? And then the fourth area is business. This is breaking down the aspects of like, what are you actually learning and how are you moving forward in your production of producing money for your family? We break down all of life into these 4 categories: body, being, balance, and business. So I want to ask you today, just as I talk through this, I want you to have in your mind what is working and what is not working. There's going to be different pieces here that you're going to pull out and be like, hey, I get this. This is what's working for me. Like, I'm great in this area. Then we're going to walk through different pieces. You're going to be like, yeah, that this isn't working out too well. Yeah, no, I can talk one-on-one. You can go to rawmotivations.com. Okay. So with this aspect, let's dive into it really quick. I want to teach you guys this because this is what we practice inside of our Thriver community. This is what we actually teach. This is what people start to live by, to understand how to develop this aspect of confidence in their own life. It's by repetition of doing the basic stuff every single day. So let's break it down. First and foremost, the first aspect is body. We can break it down in 2 aspects. One is fitness. Did you actually sweat today? Did you actually do something today that put yourself in a state of burning calories? Okay. Fitness. If you do it, you get a half point that day. It's like, hey, I completed my fitness for the day. Awesome. You get a half point. Okay. This is you showing up for you. This is you investing back into you. Then the second piece, fitness. The first one's fitness. Second one is fuel. How are you actually fueling your body on a day-to-day basis so that you're eating the right stuff, so you're drinking the right supplements, so you're putting the right stuff in your body to move you into a state of energy, to move you into a state of healthiness? How are you actually moving in this direction? Okay. So like you look at this and in your body, what is working or what is not working? Okay. What is working or what is not working just in your body? There's 1 out of 4. Okay. So stick with me. As you guys are listening to this, we break down body into fitness and to fuel. Okay. Fitness, did you actually sweat and burn calories? Fuel, I use it as, did you take your daily greens? Did you take something that's putting healthy nutrients back into your body that's helping you grow, change, and develop? Okay. So right now in the chat, we got a bunch of people in the chat right now. What is working out of this one category? Body. What is working with fitness or fuel? Is it working? Is it not working? Is it working or not working? Beautiful, an hour of walking. Awesome. So that's working. That's a piece that you're like, hey, this is working for me. Okay. What else? What else is working, not working? We're talking about body. First out of 4. Body. What is working or not working with your fitness and with your fuel? Walking is working. Okay. Yeah. So you're getting out and exercising, doing walking. Perfect. What else? Come on, drop it in the chat. What is working? What is not working for you guys right now? Right now, you say it's working. Yep. 100%. That's awesome. Okay. When we look at body, what is working? What is not working with your fitness, with your fuel? That's the 2 things. That's what we focus on. Then we move into the piece of being. Now, being is talking about your connection to a divine power. Maybe that's God. Maybe that's the universe. Maybe that's your conscience. Maybe you're like, I don't believe in that mumbo jumbo. So then where are you at mentally and emotionally? Okay. How are you thinking? How are you processing things? Okay. Being breaks down into 2 categories. The first one is meditation. You're like, I don't do meditation. It's hard to sit still. I get it. That's part of the process of healing, though. You're able to sit still and actually get clear with who you are, with what's going through your mind, with what's going through your thoughts, with what's dealing with your heart. And it starts to tell you, hey, these are the things you need to work on. These are the things that come out of this. Okay. So then this aspect of being, the first one is meditation. Do you actually get quiet 2 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day? What does it actually look like? Do you actually have a practice of meditation? If you don't, you might want to look into it. It helps people get clear, but that's not just enough. You're not just going to get clear. You have to figure out, what am I actually learning from this? And the second piece is memoirs. Memoirs is, what are you actually writing down? What are you communicating? For us, we use the process in the software of stacking. What are you actually going through this process of? What are you taking away? What are you learning from this? How are you actually going to apply it to your life? So when we talk through this aspect of being, of having a connection, okay, having a spiritual connection, mental and emotional connection, we're talking about meditation, and we're talking about memoirs. Okay. Who here actually meditates? You're like, yeah, I take a siesta after lunch. Now, who here actually meditates? Like, you're like, I meditate 2 days a week, or I meditate, 2 minutes a day. Who actually meditates? Anybody? Anybody? Put in the chat if you do. Okay. But then the question is, when you look at being, what is working and what is not working? And you said, I do. Awesome. Okay. What is working and not working about you meditating and about you writing it down? What did you actually learn? What did you actually take from this? Okay. So then we talk about body. You get a half point each. Did you do your fitness? Did you do your fuel? And we talk about being. And then we talk about meditation and memoirs. Did you actually do this? You get a half point each. And then we move into the third stage, which is balance. Now, balance, we're talking about, it's really simple. We're talking about person 1 and person 2. The cool thing is you get to define those. You get to tell people, hey, this is actually where I'm at. Okay. So you get to be able to figure out in your mind, you're like, hey, person 1 is going to be you. Person 1 is going to be you. You starting to invest into you. You haven't done that before. Okay. So how are you doing that? What does that look like? It could look like anything. It could look like you listen to a self-help podcast. It could be reading a book. It could be going for a walk because you're like, this is me spending time with me to get in tune with nature. Like, it could be all these little things. Okay. But it's you actually investing into you. Then you move into person 2. Person 2 could be your friends, could be your family, could be your kids, of like daily intentional investment into them. So we track all this. You're like, yep, this is what I did for myself today. This is what I did for the kids today. Okay. Intentional deposits into another person's life to help build that direction, to help build you continue to move forward. But this is a daily thing. It's not like a weekly thing. This is a daily thing. How you're actually investing in you. So this is in the balance. So think of it this way. How are you investing in you and how are you investing in others? Okay. So we talk about balance. Is this working or is this not working? Type in the chat, hey, it's working for me or it's not working. What does that actually look like for you? Then we move into the fourth aspect, which is the aspect of business. Business is really simple. It's you either make money to help support your family or you don't. Okay. Like you might be single and you're a single mom trying to support your family and it's tough. You're like, okay, what do I do to continue making money to support my family? How do I continue to grow this so I can be confident in understanding this? So then you continue moving forward and being like, okay, this breaks down into two areas: discover and declare. Discover is, what are you learning for you in the aspect of making money, improving your job status, improving the business that you run, improving the pieces that are happening in your life. What do you actually do that's helping you move forward? The second thing is also declare. Declare is this aspect of, what are you taking from what you learned and applying it, putting it into your business, delegating it to your team, communicating to other people, applying it to your life so that it helps you continue to move forward.